Hi folks, John with the Wingman 115 channel with Jaime and I, part of JLD Instinctive Archery. So a while ago I posted a video where Jaime and I were both out here where we saw just a ton of tree breaks. We were out scouting around, we had looked at an old topo map of the area and we had viewed on there a Native American burial site, and we wanted to just check it out, just to go looky-loo, not to do anything other than check out the natural history of the area. And then we just started noticing just an inordinate amount of tree breaks out here. So what we decided to do, because I had a lot of people go, hey, we need a follow-up, need to go a little bit deeper in the woods and check it out. So we're out here today and we're gonna cut out that way, and we're gonna bring you along with us and just see what happens. So let's go. All right, so there's north. We're gonna basically kind of move in a 80-degree direction, 75. So that way we know how to flip back around with the Jeep. The Jeep's gonna be at about 250 degrees. So that'll be our movement. So every time I'm moving in a direction, I look at where I'm moving, but then I also look what's the reverse, so I know how to shoot back in case we get somewhat discombobulated. Good thing is they're doing a lot of road construction too, so yeah. You know, worst case, we just follow the asphalt grinder. Yeah, so it's always good just to exercise, you know, the compass readings. Even though it's a cheap little Coghlan's wrist compass, it's been working for a long time. It's a little cheapy, but let me tell you, this thing's always quick to get to north, and it's never failed. I have gone through a few of them because they've gotten scuffed up really bad at work, or maybe the crystal has gotten a little cloudy. So I have gone through a few of them, but if I spend a lot more money like on a really nice Sunto, guess what? That's gonna get scratched up, or I have had magnets kind of come around them and it throws them off. So I'd rather spend a little bit less, because, you know, in my line of work and what I've done, I've gone through them just because they get damaged and really worn. So these little Coghlan's, you can buy them on eBay, very cheap. They come with a Velcro wrist strap, and I've accumulated them, and they've come in handy for a lot of other things. I don't use that little Velcro wrist strap, obviously, because it's on my watch, but food for thought. Coghlan's, about $8 or $9 eBay, I think. We found a couple deer stands out here, so we know that there's game out here, or else these people wouldn't put in the effort to put these stands and leave them here. So that's a good sign. So we were exploring the original location, and we kind of hit a ravine that was just full of poison oak, and it kind of, I don't want to say cliffed out, but it got really steep. So what we did was we hopped in the Jeep, came down the road a little bit, and now we're cutting in. We found like an old road, and we're gonna head down this and kind of just do a quick little hard left to try to cut out into the woods, and we're gonna take you along. That's why it's so lush down here. So one thing that we're picking up on is there's enough water for cedars to grow. Now, if you're familiar with SoCal, I mean, cedars aren't a huge species here unless there is just a ton of water for them to thrive on. So we're going to investigate a little bit more the surroundings. So that looks like it might be a cat track. So now that just changes everything. We got to keep our head on a swivel now. So Jaime made a pretty good observation. That right there would make a really good natural blind for like an ambush for hunting. But up here, where all these rocks are in like this semicircle formation, almost like they were rolled in place there, makes me wonder if not years ago the Native Americans
one, could have had a nomadic camp here. Very possible and probable, since they would come up from the desert up to the mountain area. We're up at a little over 5,000 feet right now. And also just a natural ambush site with, it looks like, an old road, but this probably started out as some Native American trail following a water source with all these cedars that are around. There's obviously springs in the area, so we're going to investigate a little bit more. It's getting pretty cool. So we're going up to investigate the rock formation. We definitely have deer activity. So if there's deer activity now, obviously years ago, before the big migration up here, this place would have been just covered with wildlife. Let's go check out that rock formation.
In force.
So we have some good sign. Definitely a area that we're going to come back and check out closer to deer season. But it's some older sign, but it's sign. This very easily, these rocks could have been rolled into position. And this could have been maybe an ancient hunting area, or just a place to gather acorns, because there's a lot of oak trees all through here, along with cedars. And acorns would have been one of the mainstay food items of the Kumeyaay back in the day. Here's just one of those really cool, strange oddities. Look at the granite and the root ball of this down tree. Just crazy how nature does stuff. Really interesting. So here's another weird anomaly, and maybe some of you rock hounds out there can chime in. Now, obviously the cutout is got to be natural, but let's get in close. Almost like it's glazed.
Look at that vein going around.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Native American? Could it be miners up here looking for gold? Maybe some of you rock hounds out there can chime in. So we're just taking our time. It's pretty warm out. But what's good with taking our time, it's slowing us down, and we're just doing a detailed walk, almost like a forensic walk. Just looking for Native American stuff, just natural anomalies, and just strange oddities that are out here. Now, this we just noticed. Zoom in a little bit. It's got to be a big buck. So guess what? We'll be coming back here during deer season with the trad bows. That bad boy came right. And look how steep it is. Some rugged country out here that'll just wear you out. So we're following this old trail. Heck, I don't know if it's an old miner's road or an old Native American trail coming up from the desert. But just a lot of cool sights out here. A lot of poison oak too, so we're trying to be careful. But it's pretty cool to see cedars out here. So there's definitely a lot of water. Pretty awesome meadow just popped out in the middle of nowhere. Just a lot of deer sign. They're just digging the ground up in here, coming after acorns. Probably a mid-season food item for them. They got like a super highway just going right through here. We're taking a little break, and we came across this old tree stump. So when you're out exploring, as much as you want to think you're the first person to ever set foot anywhere, this right here proves that there's always somebody that has come before us. Now we're just looking for history that's out here. One thing I love about the local mountains here in San Diego is just how diverse everything is. You could go a mile from here and it's just open pine forest, and then we're in this ravine, this little sky island, and I mean we have these beautiful cedars, oaks, pines, just a mixture of everything. It's just amazing. I love it up here in the woods. There's game trails everywhere out here. We're trying to find a water source right now, so we're following this creek bed, trying to stay out of the poison oak, and just taking in the sights. Just found some bones down here, and then it looks like there's a skull over there. I'm gonna check it out. Well, this is just a reminder that we're definitely out here in cougar country. I don't know, that could be possibly cattle or deer. Small pelvic bone, that's deer. We'll investigate a little bit more. Here's an oddity that I don't see a lot. How that tree limb is wrapped around and crossed over that other limb to kind of lock it in place. Let me know in the comments below if you see stuff like that out in the woods. Just a lot of game sign, and it's coming from that direction. So what we're thinking about doing is now just doing some hard bushwhacking up over this ridge just to scout and see what is out and about. And I'm just curious to see how far these cedars go. It's pretty cool. So we made it up over that ridge. That was quite the hike because the duff is so deep that it made it hard walking. But there's a lot of areas just all through here that looks like it could be bedding area for deer, just like a super highway. And of course, stuff always looks good before the season. You know, we got to get back out here right before the season starts, see what activity, maybe put some cameras out and see what's going on. One thing we both talked about, we didn't see a lot of, quote, human sign. I think a lot of times in SoCal, if you're not on a trail, a lot of people aren't bushwhacking just out in the woods. Just a random thought. Let me know what you think in the comments below on that. So when you have those Mylor birthday balloons and you either let them go or they get away from you and you wonder, I wonder where they wind up at. Well, this is where they wind up at. We're probably right now about 5,500 feet of elevation, and we're a good 40 miles, 45 miles from town. Very easily, with the winds, could have carried it out here. But just goes to show you that there's trash everywhere. You can't get away from it. So we topped out in this huge alpine meadow. And it got us thinking. It'd be kind of cool to set up a Fred Bear style hunting camp out here and just base camp it based on all the wildlife activity that we've seen and just investigate this area. I'm definitely going to have to come back with some game cams just to see what's moving around out here. But it is very interesting country for sure. Another example, you can't get away from them. Just trash is everywhere. We're doing some hard trailblazing right now. balls and this stuff. Here's where you want to make sure your gear's on secure. We're trying to push our way through to where it opens up again. Taking a little break. It's pretty warm today, and we came up a pretty steep grade bushwhacking through all that scrub. So taking 5, cooling down, getting some water, sitting in the shade. So you just never know where you're going to find out in the woods. A little bush camp out in the middle of nowhere. So we're in a situation where it's just thick, and we probably only have to go 50 yards to get through this, but I just don't feel like low crawling today. Well, we made it out to the road, and it's a pretty rugged country. Found a cool little bush camp back there, a couple tree stands, a lot of sign. No definitive broken tree sign like last time, but we'll keep looking and we'll bring you guys along with us when we do. Thanks for following along, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.